How's it going, everyone? We're going to show you some of the new freeware aircraft that have made their way into MSFS. Although it's early days, it's huge progress and they do come with massive bugs and massive issues, but some of the modelling is really good and I think it gives us a bright future of things that are to come for the game. The aircraft mega pack, they've given us 3 aircraft at the moment: an A330, a CRJ 700, a 747-400, and actually they've given 4 aircraft and an Airbus A321, as you can see there. All are available free to download. They all have working cockpits. The CRJ 700 isn't the correct cockpit, it is used from one of the other aircraft, but it is flyable. The 330 uses an A320 cockpit, the A321 uses the 320 cockpit, and they all support the A32X fly-by-wire mod. So let's have a quick look at the A330. The model is ported over from FSX. I believe they're currently having copyright issues with it. I'm not 100% sure on that, so it possibly has been removed at the time of making this video, but it may be back at the time if you're watching this. The model's pretty good. There is liveries already for it. There is a few big issues. I mean, the wheels is the first issue, is that they don't actually touch the ground. I know there is weight and loading and fuel amount issues in the config, because it kind of thinks it's an A320 and it does take off like a rocket as well. Like I say though, for freeware it's all early progress, and as a base, as a start, it is a good base and a good start. My biggest issue I have with it is when you're sitting in the cockpit and you're flying the plane, the cockpit isn't where it should be on the plane, which is quite hard to describe. So the cockpit at the front of the plane is the fake cockpit. You are actually further set back, which I will demonstrate now, hopefully. There we go. So you actually fly it from where that black box is, not where these 2 dodgy looking pilots are, which causes some interesting landings really, because that's quite a big distance that you're further back in the aircraft. I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping some of the other stuff that they're making is going to be a bit more progressive than this, because at the moment it feels a bit like an A320 with an A330 skin just placed over the top of it. Again, I don't want to put down the work they've put into it though, because for freeware, really, they've done an excellent job at modelling and beginning this aircraft. The nice thing about it really is that it is flyable. Like I say, it has got its weight issues and its loading issues. It does take off pretty rapidly, but overall, I mean, it works, and it works pretty well. It just needs some love, which probably is just going to come with time, to be honest. It's just a time. I will provide links to all of these in the description. Their Discord is really well worth joining. They've currently got a few more projects on the go as well: 757, 767, a 737, a KC-10 and a 777. So it'll be very interesting to see how all these progress, especially some of the Boeings that they're producing, because some of the Boeings they're producing are full custom models, which is very good. So for all the sim enthusiasts, there must be differences between the A330 cockpit and the A320, which you'll see. This uses the A320 cockpit, but overall the model's pretty good. The skins are out there as well. The same guys run an aircraft liveries mega pack as well, and it obviously has the retractable folding gear. So it's, as freeware, it's definitely an excellent base. As you can see, also the custom cameras do need a little bit of work, but again, there's something that easily can be changed. The biggest issue I have, I think, is the flight characteristics of it, that they're not genuinely accurate. As a screenshot plane, I'd probably say it works pretty well, but generally I personally would prefer that it flies more true to how it would in real life with its weights. Again, it's easily sorted. All they've got to do is, start putting the actual config in to make it handle like the big plane it actually is compared to the A320. So I tested the plane on full flaps and it literally would not land. So people suggested to try it on flap free position, which I did, and it still struggled to get down on the ground. I'm guessing this is more, again, just a config issue rather than anything else. So, you know, I mean, it works. It's just like here I'm having to physically force the plane down to the ground. So if you're looking for a realistic flight model, sorry, you're not going to have that. If you're looking for something to have screenshots and say, wow, look what I'm flying, an A330, then it is worth it.
Airbus 123, turn next taxiway. Airbus 123, contact ground on 121.955.
121.955 for Airbus 123.
So next up, the A321. So not many differences from the A320. I'm pretty sure the main difference is just slightly bigger. The model is pretty good. I couldn't get the liveries to work with it for some reason. Don't know why. It works with the A32X mod as well, which is nice. So it gives you sort of a working cockpit, which is the A320 cockpit. Again, my only issue is where the cockpit placement is. So you don't truly sit at the front of the plane, which is probably minor to a lot of people, but I don't know, when you're coming into land and stuff, it's not true for me, if you know what I mean. It probably won't bother a lot of people, but for me, I did find it a little bit like, you know, especially in the A330, I want it to be where the cockpit actually is. But again, it'll come with time. These are freeware models. I don't want to. I feel like I'm going to be too critical on people that are spending their free time creating these models. And really, I probably shouldn't be, because, like I say, they're using their free time. But they're more just. I'm trying to be a bit more, you know, constructive towards the future of them. Like the models that are coming from the rest of their Discord look highly positive, because they're made from the ground up. Whereas I feel these are more reskins than anything else. As you can see by where the pushback tug is. Even the wheel positioning is a bit off. This one does sit on the ground though, so I suppose that is something. The flight characteristics and the flight config is a bit better, mainly because it's so close to an A320. The one major bug I have with this one is the shadows. So the plane, it has no body. Like, there's no sunblock from behind the cockpit. So when you're in the cockpit, if you've got the sun behind you, you basically just get pure sunlight from behind, even though there should be a shadow, which is slightly annoying if it is a sunny day, as you're about to see. So there's the cockpit again. The model overall is pretty good. If you're looking to take screenshots and just be, you know, have a little flex and be like, oh look, I've got an A321, and people will be like, wow. The custom cameras need a bit of work again, but overall that's minimal. That's no major biggie. So here we go, here's the cockpit. You can see what I mean about the sunlight in the cockpit. The shadow, the only thing that's causing a shadow is my chair. The sun's directly behind us, but there's no rear cockpit wall. So it makes it a bit of a pain in the arse to try and fly because of the sunlight. If it's cloudy, you've probably got no issues, but unfortunately, when it's not cloudy, it is a bit of an issue. Right, lastly, we'll move on to the CRJ. So the CRJ is based on the two smaller jets that are currently in MSFS, the Longitude and the Citation, I think they are. As you can see, look where the cockpit is on this. The cockpit is miles back. Miles back. Yeah. So it makes it. I assume that you sit where the cockpit shows in the model, rather than at the front, because if we look how far back we are from the power, this is what I was trying to work out in the videos: is that do we sit that far back? So it is using the same model as the. I don't know which one this is. The citation of the longitude. So again, it's a bit more of a screenshot plane, really. It does have the wrong cockpit, although it has a working cockpit. It is the wrong cockpit. And it probably flies the least well out of all of them. I had issues with the autopilot. I had issues with landing, and it wasn't just me. It was just the way the plane handled. But again, I suppose this is all things that are going to come with time. It is early days. These are freeware models. I'm not trying to be highly critical. They're pointers that I've sort of picked up as base planes that are like, if we class them as early beta, they're a good start. I just don't know if I'm getting too obsessive about the cockpits when I don't really need to be. But as you can see, it looks pretty good when you're in the air. Hopefully it's a sign of what we've got to come. Hopefully this has helped you guys out as well, just to see these freeware planes and where we're going with MSFS. I mean, all these paired up with the A32X mod, I believe we've got a big bright future ahead of us for MSFS. As a base simulator, I would say it's possibly the biggest thing to come along in 10-20 years. We just need the planes, especially if you're into airliners. I think airliners is what is truly lacking. The base airliners, they work, don't get me wrong, they do have their issues. We just need some more highly detailed third-party models, I'd say. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just a quick brief overlook just to save you downloading them and getting them all working so you can actually see what they like. Hopefully it did benefit you. Do drop me a sub, do drop me a like. I do appreciate it. Any questions, drop them below. I'll provide all the links below as well. Thank you.